Changing the way you think is hard, but changing your environment isn't. Today I'm going to share with you the 5 tips that I use to help me transform my body. And the best part is no willpower is required. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Angie. If you're new here, please subscribe to my channel and click the bell notifications button to be notified every time that I upload a new video or I respond to one of your comments. Today I am going to share with you the 5 tips that I use to change my environment and transform my body. So I'm just gonna make a quick little shake here and then we're gonna get into the video. This is a really good smoothie. I need to drink water too. Okay. Tip number 1 is by far the easiest no-brainer that you can implement right now. And what that is actually changing what you eat your food on. So by that, I mean that we can take our standard dinner plate, which is a good size to my head here, and we can change it out for eating on a side plate. And by doing that one thing, every single time that you eat a meal, so say breakfast, lunch, and dinner, we are automatically eating less food, ingesting less calories, and we are not restricting ourselves in any way. We are still eating exactly what it is that we want. Nothing else in our diet has changed. So this to me was just easy peasy. Like, it's such a golden tip because it was a no-brainer. Then the next thing that I changed in this changing my environment part, and this is not tip number 2, this is still part of tip number 1, was I think my cat just went into the dryer. Just 1 second. Yep, that just happened. Okay, well, she's a really weird cat. So to control whenever we leave our house and our environment is really actually quite simple as well. Take a drive-through, for instance. Say that you order a large double-double at the drive-through, which has 2 cream, 2 sugar, and it's a large. How can we take that and make a really quick and easy switch without even thinking about it and without sacrificing that taste and the flavor? Well, we can order a medium double-double instead. And just by doing that there, we are automatically consuming less of that product that we really, really love, and therefore we are cutting back those calories. I know that there are people that go through the drive-through a couple of times a day, and if we do that there by changing the size of the drink that we have, we can make some serious impact in what it is that we're ingesting and then getting us closer to where we want to go. All right, so what happens whenever you go out into a restaurant? How can we change the environment of a restaurant? The way that I looked at it as is, if I wanted to have an appetizer, I would ask the person who I was with if we could share an appetizer. And most times they're pretty much game for that. So that was an easy one. And then when it came to my main dish, I would choose something on the menu A that I really wanted to eat, because I'm not a person who goes out and says, I would like a salad with some grilled chicken and put the dressing on the side. I'm not that girl. I like the French fries. I like the poutine. I like the big fat ass burger. I like that stuff. That's not stuff that I normally make at home. When I go to a restaurant, I want to have something that I don't necessarily make at home all the time, because what's the point of me spending all of this money when I could just make it at home? Okay, good. All right. So with the entree, what I did with this one here was I had asked them if I could have a half portion of the entree. And sometimes that would happen and that was great, but sometimes it wouldn't. So what I would say is, when I would order my main dish, could you please bring me a takeout container when you bring me the meal? And they're like, yeah, sure, no problem. So whenever I got the meal, then I would proceed to take half of the meal and put it into my takeout container and say, okay, baby, that's for you and me for later. And then I would go and I would eat my meal and I would really enjoy it. And most times not. Restaurant portions are huge. And so get what you enjoy, eat it, and feel good about it, because right there, you just cut back on half of the calories that you were going to consume by literally putting half of it into a container, and then you get to enjoy that for another time. All right, so now we're gonna get on to another tip that I really, really love. Turkey and vegetable chow fry. Ooh, cool. I'm just being silly. I'm totally confusing Eddie right now. He's like, Mom, what are you doing? Why are you sitting in the fridge? I don't understand. But this leads me to tip number 2. Tip number 2 is changing your environment by organizing your fridge. If you look at my fridge right now, I have like lettuce up here. I got cottage cheese. I have milk down here. In here I got meats, but I don't have a lot of organization when it comes to my fridge. And the truth is that when we eat with our eyes, if what we have in front of us is more visible, then we're going to eat it more often. So if we take things out of our vegetable bin, like our cauliflower, our celery, cucumbers, all of these things, if we take these out of our bin and we put them up here in the front, where our first thing that we see when we open up our fridge is our fruits and our vegetables, then we're automatically going to go for those things more often. So what I'm going to actually do is kind of Marie Kondo my fridge. So I'm going to take it from what it is right now, and then I'm going to do a little bit of food prep. Okay, so that was really quick, and it took me 9 minutes and 17 seconds. And not to mention, I actually made a fruit bowl in those 9 minutes and 17 seconds. Like, oh my God. So this is my fruit bowl, fancy smancy, isn't it? But the truth is that it doesn't have to look fancy. It doesn't have to look perfect. It's just about being organized. And so now how I kind of organized my fridge was, on the top is I put some vegetables and fruits that I wanted to eat now so that I could use those as snacks during the week. So I planned that out. And then I also put some leftovers from stuff that we ate in the last couple of days that I want to eat for my lunch. So then I'm not having to create a new meal as well. I already have leftovers from that. My second shelf, I actually have a container here. Oops, the light went off. Here of the vegetables that I need to eat up this week. Actually, these guys here, butternut squash, which I love. So I bought these, I'm not joking, like, oh my God, a month ago at least, and they've been in my pantry, and now they're in my fridge, and now they're still sitting here. So this week I really need to cook those. I also found 2 containers of ketchup open and 2 containers of oat milk open. So by me reorganizing my fridge, I can actually get those things out of my fridge, using them and not throwing away stuff. This experiment of putting your food out where you see it totally worked. Yesterday, Koira came home, and first thing she did was she went right to the kitchen, and she didn't see anything in the cupboard in the fridge that she wanted, but she noticed the peaches. So she ate one. So right there, she ended up choosing something. Instead of, like, say, ramen noodles, she went and she chose peaches to eat. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to eat this now. Okay, all right, going on to tip number 3. Tip number 3, make laziness work for you. As I sit down with all of my junk food, you're like, okay, how am I gonna do that there, Miss Smarty Pants? Well, it's really simple. The truth is that if you do not have the food in your house, you're not going to eat it. So at night, whenever you are already in your comfy pajamas, and maybe you have your bra taken off, maybe not, some people are like that, maybe not, you're less likely to actually want to get into the car, to drive, to go to a store, to actually pick up said junk food. So if you don't have it in your house, then you will be less likely to do that. However, as you can see by the stuff that I put here on my couch, I have it in my house. That's just the real life thing of my house. So when I used to struggle with stuff like this here and having these types of foods and temptation in my house, and I didn't want to have them there, but I couldn't have them out because other people live here and they want them, I would ask them to put them in a place where I couldn't visibly see them. And that would really help with the temptation of not wanting to eat them. That brings me up to another point. Actually, I've decided that I wanted to start a new series on this channel that I'm going to upload every Sunday. So stick around to the end of the video and I'll tell you more about it. Alrighty, tip number 4, as you can see, we have a new location. Tip number 4 is small steps add up. I know that sometimes when you're wanting to add exercise in, it can seem really overwhelming. And the truth is that it doesn't have to be a lot. It doesn't have to be like an hour-long HIIT session where you're just dying. If you just start adding in a little bit of more steps every single day, it's really not that bad and it's quite attainable. And it's a nice small goal to feel like you've achieved as well. And as you build upon that, you know, week after week, you're really going to see some real change and real results from that. I love taking the dog for a walk. It really helps me kind of just get out of my head and forget about the day, especially if I'm having kind of a shitty day. I put my podcast on, I have my headphones in, and it's just me and Eddie and nothing else. There's no distractions. It's just me and the world. If that's something that's not possible for you, where you can get out and take a walk, then maybe just start with little things of like parking your car further away when you're at the grocery store, or like if you have kids and you're out at their sporting events supporting them. A lot of times it's at the track or the rink, and most times instead of just standing there hanging out with the other parents, why don't you guys just say, okay, well, we can still watch the kids, but let's take a walk around. One thing that I did a couple of years back when I was on my journey was the kids were in Taekwondo, so I asked the instructor if I could actually join the classes with them. And you know what? It was a lot of fun. I got to learn some really kick-ass moves, and I also got like a really, really good exercise in as well, because holy crap, do they ever work hard with that? That stuff is really hard. So yeah, so that's my tip number 4. Tip number 5, replacing the booze with gym shoes. That's right, folks. If you want to see a transformation, you are going to have to reduce your alcohol consumption. But how can we reduce our alcohol consumption while still having alcohol? Well, this leads us back into tip number 1, where if we are going to drink alcohol, if we're going to consume alcohol, then let's just start right away by putting it into a smaller glass. Tip number 2 is after we consume that glass of delicious, lovely red wine, then why don't we go and have a glass or 2 of water? Those are the tips and strategies that I used when I was on my fitness journey, because I still wanted to consume alcohol. But that's it. So there you have it, guys. There are 5 tips that I used to help me on my transformation journey that were really easy to implement, that I could do it immediately. There was no fancy tools. It was just super simple switches, and I really hope that you give them a try. And if you do, I would love to know in the comments below which one worked for you. And so thanks very much for sticking around. As promised, the new series on my channel is called How to Lose Weight Slowly and Permanently. If you're tired of this yo-yo dieting and you want to get off that track and get on the track where you can lose weight permanently, you need to stick with me. There's a tractor going by, so just give me a minute. Living in the country, folks, right there. So yeah, so each week I'm going to upload a video every Sunday so you can be fresh and ready for Monday. We are going to focus on how we eat. And there's a squirrel. Oh my God. We are going to focus on how we eat, how we move, and how we think. We are going to create healthy habits that are going to give us consistency, moving us from our starting point here all the way up to our goals. And we are going to do it together. So if you would like to join me, I would love to have you. Please subscribe to my video, please share it with a friend, and we are beginning this on Monday. I will be uploading the video on Sunday, and I really hope to see you there. Thank you so much, and please have an awesome day.